Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to be looking at addition subtraction models. So while you're studying your unit of addition and subtraction, you're going to be seeing a lot of different models. And you'll see these in problems, or you'll need to use these models to solve the problems. So this is the majority of the kinds of models that you will see. Here's the number line. A strip diagram, it's also called part-whole model, and it's also can be called a bar model. So I'm just going to write that here because this one has many names. I'm sure you've seen it, mostly in part-whole. But we're going to be doing an example in a little while that I'll show you how you can use this, and it's really helpful when comparing numbers. We have our pictorial model, which it's just a fancy word to say drawings or a picture of something. A table, equations, place value, and then we have our fact families. So these are the different ways that you'll see models and problems. And like I said, you'll either see them in problems or you'll use them to help you solve problems. Okay, now we're going to look at an example. Okay, let me just make sure you can see the whole problem here. So we have, the problem says, Lori's garden has 2 types of flowers. There are 383 roses. We know that's important. And there are 96 more sunflowers than roses. So the 2 flowers are roses and sunflowers. So those are the 2. So we know there are 383 roses, and we know there's 96 more sunflowers than roses. Now, at first glance, a lot of students say, oh, there's 96 sunflowers, but that's not true. There's 96 more sunflowers than roses. So to solve this problem, the question says, what is the combined total of flowers? Those are 2 words that we need to know. And the word combined means to join together, to put together, to gather. And that means to add. Total, of course, is the answer to an addition problem or a multiplication problem. And in this problem, they want you to combine it together to add it. So this is actually a join problem. You're going to have to join things. But there's actually 2 steps for this problem. A lot of problems are multiple step problems. That means more than 1 step. However, there's different ways that you can solve problems. Your teacher will show you different ways. I use a way called the Greg-Ting model, and all it is, it's you show a model. And remember, the models are all the ones that I just showed you here. So it's those models. We'll pick one of those models to help us solve the problem, and then your equation, and then justify or your statement. And that just means to check your work, a way to check your work, to make sure you're right. So it's just 3 quick, easy steps to help you solve the problem. So the first step is to use a model. So we're going to use, I told you we're going to be using the bar model for this one. So I have the 2 types of flowers. Every math problem is like a story, and you have characters, and you have a problem, and you have a solution. So here it's not people, but it's things, it's flowers. You have roses and sunflowers. So I'm going to put an R for roses and an S for sunflowers. How many roses do we have? 383. So I'm going to make a bar that shows 383. That's how many sunflowers I have. Don't be afraid to always go back to the problem. Just like in reading, you go back to the story. Always go back to the problem in math as well to make sure you're doing the right thing. And at the end, we'll go back again to make sure we answered the right question. Okay, so we have roses, 383. What does it say about sunflowers? Well, there's 96 more sunflowers than roses. So it's not 96, it's 96 on top of the roses. Okay, so you have the roses, which is the same, 383. But then you have 96 more on top of that. So what do we do with those two? Yep, we have to combine them. We have to join them. So under equation, that's what we'll do. So here we use a bar model to show that. Sometimes you can always connect them to show the comparison. Either way is fine. So we're gonna combine those because it says there's 96 more sunflowers than roses. Okay, so we're gonna add that. 383 plus 96. Remember to line up your place values. Okay, 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 8, 17. Okay, and we carry the 1 over here. 3 plus 1 is 4. So that's 479 sunflowers. So that equals 3, let me see if I can write it here, 479. Okay, so we know we have more sunflowers. That's why this bar is bigger, because there's more sunflowers than roses. Now, are we done? If you think you're done, let's look at the question. What is the combined total of flowers? Now, they are not asking for one type of flower. They're not asking for sunflowers or roses. They want to know both of them. So now what do? We did one step. We have to do our next step, which is to combine the flowers. So now you combine them. You have to add 479 plus 383, because that's how many roses there are. 383. Line up your place values, and now we add. 9 plus 3 is 12. Carry your 1 here. 7 plus 8 plus 1 would be 16. And what I did, I just made this a double. I know that 7 and 1 is 8, and then 8 and 8 is 16. When you're adding, it's really easy to add if you make 10 in your head or make doubles. Makes it easier to add mentally in your head. Okay, 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So what is a combined total of flowers? 862 flowers. Justify, that means check. Check. So how can I check my work here? Well, I can use fact families. And remember, that was also one of the models. So in this problem, we used our bar model, and we also are going to use fact families to check. So the opposite operation of addition is subtraction. So if I work backwards up here, so if I do 862 minus 383, that should give me 479. If it doesn't, then ding, ding, that lets my brain know, uh-oh, something's wrong, something happened, and I have to go back and check. So let's see if we got that right. 2 minus 3, we cannot. More on the floor, go next door, get 10 more. It's a little rhyme to help you remember. This becomes a 12, this becomes a 5. 12 minus 3 is 9. 5 minus 8, more on the floor, go next door, get 10 more. We have to regroup again. This becomes 15. Okay, and this becomes a 7. 15 minus 8, 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. So did we get the right answer? Yep, check. And I like to tell me and my students always said Nike check to make sure it is correct. And we got it. So there you go. And in this problem, alone, we used 2 models. We used bar model and we used equations. Okay, that was just an example to get you guys started. We'll see you next time.